Now we're going to track parameters. Now in track parameters I only know MIDI and pitch. I'm not going to teach you the other things because I don't really know about them. But anyway, we're going to go into our menu here. I just hit menu from our home screen right here. Now what we're going to do is we're going to go to track parameter. And what we have first is our MIDI. Now a MIDI channel is basically like a signal channel, and you'll kind of learn this as you go, and again do a lot of experimentation and just kind of mess with things here. But basically, let's go into track 1. That is our MIDI channel 1. Now if I wanted to play 2 tracks at the same time, or 2 instruments at the same time, what I can do is I can actually assign channel 1, and I can mimic the channel 1, so that way channel 1 is controlling both these instruments. And I can do that with the, track 3, track 4, all the way up to track 16. That's also known as a multi-timbral or multifaceted instrument. You're playing, let's say, the key of C, but you are playing on 3 different instruments. So let's go ahead and split this up so you can actually hear what I'm talking about. So for the first track, we have our standard synthesizer. For the next track, I'm going to go ahead and throw an organ in there. And then for the third track, since we've assigned 3 to MIDI channel 1, I'm going to go ahead and throw a drum in here just to make it sound interesting. So I got 3 different instruments. We got our synth, organ, and drums. And I'm going back to my menu screen here, going back into track parameters, and those are assigned to MIDI channel 1. Now I'm on MIDI channel 1 right here, or I'm sorry, I'm on track 1 right here, and if you switched out tracks here, it would still play on channel 1 because that's assigned to channel 1, and so are these. So it doesn't matter what one of the 3 instruments that you play, if they're all assigned to channel 1, you're going to be playing channel 1 when you hit a key. Now listen. Those are 3 different instruments all playing at the same time. That is how you control those. Now up here, you actually see where it says BTH. That's both. That stands for our status, or MIDI status. MIDI status is basically what you're controlling. If I were to just control what is called INT, internal, that's the internal sound source of this keyboard. So I'll be just controlling what's going on this keyboard. This keyboard is basically its own instrument, and it has 16 channels of MIDI. Right now we've assigned the very first channel of MIDI to these 3 different instruments. And when I'm just controlling internal, I can't control out of my MIDI in and out, and I'll show you right here. Oh, that's really dirty. So I'm trying to zoom in here. What that basically is our, there we go. We have our in, our out, and our through. And if I flip this keyboard around, you'd actually see where this cable right here can plug into. It can plug into any one of those 3. Right now I have it on the output, and I'm going to plug it back into the output, because what's basically happening is I'm sending a signal out from this cable to my sampler right here, and that's how you control your sampler. Now let me explain this real quick here. You gotta listen up, because I'm trying not to confuse you too much, but I do have to explain this. Basically what I'm doing by hitting internal, I am not sending a signal out into my MIDI channel, or my MIDI controller here. But if I do want to control this this sampler right here, oops, excuse me, I have to go ahead and either hit both, with what's going to happen, it's going to send a signal to the keyboard telling the keyboard to tell or to play a sound, but it's also sending a signal to my sampler to play a sound. So you're going to be getting two different sounds just by me hitting the both. Now external means that I am sending a signal only out into my sampler, but I'm not sending a signal to the internal keyboard, into the sound generator or the instrument of this keyboard. So I hope that kind of explains it. If you still have questions about that, I can go into more explanation about it. But basically that's how that works. So right now we're just going to go ahead and do both, and we're going to keep it at that. So now we know what these two things do. Now